Bang, bang, bang. Constant banging. That's how my mornings start. That or the sounds of sirens blaring through the city. I would do anything to get away from here, but I don't have anywhere to go or enough money to get anywhere for that matter. I work as a waitress at a local diner in New York. It doesn't pay much. I don't even think it pays minimum wage, but it gets me by barely. Hearing the shouting from upstairs, I heard another bang. The people aren't very friendly in my building. You see, I live in a not-so-nice part of town. I'm actually trying to find another job to get out of this dump, but I don't think I'm going to get anywhere anytime soon. Looking up at the clock, I saw it was 5:26, only 4 minutes before I had to get up for work, which starts at 7, but I have to walk there, which takes about half an hour. Deciding to just go ahead and get ready, I hit the off button on my alarm and started my day. I jumped in the shower real quick and then picked out my outfit, which consisted of black skinny jeans, our white long sleeve shirt, and some black Vans. My hair cascaded down in its natural brown, wavy locks. I saw I only had 5 minutes before I had to leave, so I ran to get my bag and made my way to the front door. Stopping by the mirror to check my appearance, I saw my dull green eyes looking over my face. No makeup, dark bags under the eyes, and a pale complexion. Pushing those thoughts away, I scurried out of the building and made my way down the stairs because this building didn't have a freaking elevator. Yeah, all 10 flights of them. Walking to work in my part of the city, or, well, town, was a suicide mission in itself. If you weren't selling drugs, you were buying them. If you weren't robbing someone, you were either helping or you were the one getting robbed. Thankfully, I have only had one encounter with a mugging, and they didn't get much. Some change and gum. I have learned to be very cautious since then, but considering I don't have a phone, that makes it a bit harder. After a good 30 minutes of walking, I was standing in front of my work. It had seen better days, but it was better than most businesses here. Walking inside, I was greeted by my creeper of a boss. "Hello, darlin', look at you being early as usual," Mark, my boss, said with a bored tone. He always flirts and looks me up and down like I'm a piece of meat or something. "Hello, Mark," I greeted with a fake smile. "Aw, there's that pretty little smile. Now get that gorgeous body out there and make me some money," he said sternly. I nodded my head, walking past him and feeling his eyes burn through my ass. The morning went on as usual and no weirdos came in today. Well, so far, which I was thankful for. Around lunch, it did speed up a bit, and I would have been happy for the amount of customers. But no matter how many customers we get, the pay is the same for us. Not even the tips count for us. After lunch, we have to close for 30 minutes to have a lunch break because Mark won't hire enough people for us to take shifts. We close down around 2 and then open about 2:30. While I was sitting down to eat, there was a banging on the front door. Sighing, I got up to go investigate. Standing in front of the glass door, there was a very bulky man with dark hair, black, I was pretty sure. He wore a pristine black suit and no tie with black Ray-Bans to match. "Sir, we are closed," I said, bored, because stuff like this happens a lot. He just continued to bang like he didn't hear me. I walked over to the door and pointed to the sign indicating that we were closed. He ignored that and kept banging. Ugh! Frustrated, I yanked open the door and was greeted with silence for only a moment. What the stranger did next was weird and a bit frightening. He simply walked over to the booth all the way in the back and sat down. It wasn't the fact that he did all of that, but the fact that he did it so calmly and quietly, and why he was so determined to eat here of all places. I mean, he has eyes, but they obviously don't work right. His clean suit screamed successful, while my dirty apron screamed broke. You could obviously tell he wasn't from around here. Sighing, I walked back to the break room and tried to finish my lunch, only to have a deep, rough voice stop me. "Aren't you going to take my order?" the man asked, sending shivers up my body. "We're closed," I stated flatly, tired and hungry. "No, you're not," he said, more of a statement than a question. "Yeah, we are. Don't you know we close—" I was interrupted by the man. "What time do you guys open back up?" The guy asked like he already knew I was gonna lose the argument. 2:30, I stated in a bored tone. "Exactly. So I will ask again. Are you going to take my order?" he asked in a hard voice, which alarmed me no doubt. Looking down at my watch, I saw he was right. Damn it! Walking over to him, I set a menu in front of him, only to have him pick it right back up and shove it in my face. Excuse you? I asked, tired of this bullshit. I know what I want, he stated flatly. Okay, what? I would like a drop the bitchy attitude with a side of new waitress, he said plainly. Oh, really? Well, I would like a new job with a side of a better customer. I glared at him. Well, I don't care about your petty poor people problems. Will you just get me my damn food so I can go to my job that is actually going somewhere? He snapped, his mood changing all of a sudden. Talk about bipolar. No, you can leave, I said almost in a yell. He scooted the chair out roughly and walked out without a word, but not before slamming the door behind him. Good, that will be the last of you, Mr. Posh, I thought to myself. I sighed and went to push his chair in. I noticed something black that stood out from the white tile floor. Picking it up, I looked at it closer. Shit. His wallet. Peeking inside, I saw boring stuff. Some credit cards, driver's license, money, and some business cards. The driver's license said it belonged to a Mr. Ryder James. That name rang a bell. It will come sooner or later. Great! Now he has to come back and get the stupid thing. Looking closer at the business card, I saw that the place on the card wasn't that far. Wait a minute, this card says Richard James on it. Holy shit, he has his own company? Well, that would explain a lot of things. Maybe I could just give it to someone there and I'll be on my way. Yeah, I will do that. This way he won't come here, and I can just drop it off and go. In and out, like a hump and dump, but not really. Putting the wallet in my bag, I worked the rest of the day and closed up, preparing to walk all the way to this business place tomorrow. Laying in bed, I started to doze off, thinking about how good of an idea it is to drop the wallet off instead of him coming back here. But somehow knowing it wasn't. Waking up this morning, I dreaded everything I did. Every second, every step, every breath. I knew all I had to do was drop off a wallet, but it felt like there was going to be so much more to it. I don't know why those feelings showed up, but they did, and now I'm uneasy about everything. Right now, I'm making my way to Mr. James's office building, the one he apparently owns. It's about 20 blocks on foot, which may not seem like much to people with cars, but on foot, it's a long way. I kept myself busy wondering whether Mr. James would be there when I arrived, or if I could just hand the wallet to someone else. The crazy thing is, even though I don't want to see Mr. James again, I kind of do. I don't know if it's because I want to understand why he's so cold and guarded, or to see if he can be decent. After about 30 minutes of walking, I came upon a huge, beautiful building that stood out from all the others. Floor-to-ceiling glass rose toward the sun, which bounced off each window. 2 massive glass doors, less tinted than the windows, revealed the lobby inside. It was simply beautiful. Pushing open the heavy doors, I was greeted by ringing phones and the smell of vanilla and chocolate chip cookies. Odd for a business, if you ask me, but weirdly relaxing. At the reception desk, a not-so-nice woman with black hair and brown eyes looked up. I love brown eyes, so it made it hard to dislike her. I smiled. Hi, I came to She cut me off. Yeah, I know, you're late. We needed you 5 minutes ago. This is no way to start a new job, missy. Oh, no, I'm not here for a job. I'm here for... Oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired because of you. Mr. James is very busy and does not wait for anybody, Mrs. Rain, she scolded. But I'm not... Ugh, just go to the elevators and hit the top floor, she snapped, marching away. Okay, I thought, walking toward the elevators. They were a glossy dark brown, neither too shiny nor too matte, complementing the tall, light brown walls that had to be 20 feet high, maybe more. A man in a black suit stood inside, waiting for the doors to close. I slipped in just in time. He was very attractive, mid-40s maybe, with a bit of black stubble along his jaw. Hi, I'm Victoria, I said, awkwardly trying to make conversation. Oh, my apologies. I'm Victor, he smiled. Do you work here? He asked. Me? In a place like this? Never, I said, suddenly insecure. Why do you say that? His tone turned serious. Because I'm not exactly the desirable candidate for a job here, I admitted. You should think better of yourself. Maybe you're exactly the kind of person who should work here, but you're too down on yourself to try, he said with a little eye-roll smirk. Before I could reply, the doors opened on his floor. He nodded a quick goodbye and stepped out, leaving me alone with my thoughts. What I'd say to Mr. James. Why I was kind of excited to see him. What he'd say to me. The doors opened again. Here goes nothing. The hallway was all hardwood, sunlight glinting across the floor and giving everything a warm feel. Doors lined either side, all closed, all painted black like the elevator doors. Phones ringing, people talking. By the look and the sound of it, this place was very successful. Mr. James! That was the name on the last door to the left. Nerves hit me hard. Turn back or knock? Excitement won. I knocked. What? A deep voice barked, making me jump. I opened the door after collecting myself. Cinnamon and pine with a touch of mint filled the room, intoxicating. A high-backed chair faced the window overlooking the city. What do you want? The same voice ground out. I ignored the tone, not loving the way I was being spoken to. He spun the chair around quickly, stood, and almost yelled, "Answer me!" Then he stopped when he saw me. "Oh, look, you couldn't keep away, could you?" he asked, cocky. "Actually, I just thought you might want to buy me a nice dinner later," I said, sarcastic. "What?" he asked, confused. I pulled his wallet from my bag and gave a small wave. "You left it at the restaurant yesterday." "All right, bring it here," he said, stern. "Yeah, no. Your wallet. Your job to get it." I smirked. "Then why did you bring it to me?" he asked. My smirk faltered. I didn't want to see you?" It came out like a question and sounded stupid, considering I was seeing him right now. "Face it, sweetheart, you think I'm hot," he said simply. "What?" I blurted, even though fair, brown eyes, light brown hair, strong jaw, tall and built. He walked over, keeping eye contact the whole way. When he stood in front of me, he took my chin between his thumb and forefinger and tilted my face up. He towered over my 5'6" frame. "Deal," he whispered, warm, minty breath fanning my cheeks. What? I stuttered, not sure what I'd just agreed to. "Tomorrow night we'll go out and discuss your new job here. Apparently, you're my new personal assistant, princess." "Till tomorrow, kitten," he added with a wink, walking back to his desk. "But wait, I stopped when he shot me a harsh glare. "Goodbye," I said. "No, till tomorrow," he said, leaving no room for argument. "Till tomorrow," I nodded and walked out. Confused. That's how I walked the 20 blocks back home. Confused about how I'd ended up with a dinner date with Mr. James and why he'd want to go with me of all people. I mean, I was what he said yesterday, a girl with a dead-end job, and I knew it. I kept walking, wondering how the hell I was going to get through that dinner tomorrow. The waitress returned before Mr. James could say anything else, leading us to a table in the back, away from everyone else. "Enjoy," she said with a shaky voice, before leaving us alone. "So, kitten," he leaned closer, voice low. "Are you going to tell me why you're wearing such a flattering dress?" His eyes glimmered with a heat I tried to ignore. It was only then I realized just how close he was sitting. The air between us felt thick, warm, almost stifling. I stayed quiet, but my silence only made him lean in further. With one word, "Now." He told me to come closer, and before I could think twice, I found myself right beside him. His scent, cinnamon and mint, wrapped around me, distracting me from the menu in my hands. His finger brushed along my arm, and I muttered nervously, "We're at a restaurant, you know." "Yes, and no one will disturb us here. I made sure of that," he replied calmly. I tried to deflect. "Don't you want to talk about your new job, baby girl?" "Yes." He cut me off smoothly. My head snapped toward him. "What?" "Sweetheart, this job pays at least 5 times what you make now. Better pay, better view." He smirked, as if daring me to argue. I looked down, chewing my lip. Should I even consider this? Come here, he whispered again, his voice like velvet. The look in his eyes made it clear what he meant. Before I could react, he pulled me closer until I was practically in his lap. The air crackled between us, charged and dangerous. His hand tilted my chin upward until I was forced to meet his gaze. You see what you do to me, princess? He murmured. I couldn't form words. My body reacted before my mind could catch up. Every nerve felt alive, every thought drowned out by the nearness of him. He chuckled low, as if he could read the conflict in my eyes. You really should be more careful about the games you play with me, he warned. And just like that, the tension spilled over. More heat, more closeness than I'd ever expected. The world around us disappeared until all I could think about was him, his voice, and how dangerously easy it was to lose myself in the moment. By the time I stumbled home that night, one thing was clear. Mr. James wasn't just offering me a job. He was pulling me into something far more complicated, and I wasn't sure if I was ready or if I even had the choice to say no. Ever since my date with Mr. James, I can't stop replaying the whole thing in my head. For one, why did I even get involved with him? Why did I let him touch me in such an inappropriate way? And now, today, I'm supposed to show up for a job interview to work for him. The strange part is, everyone says he's mean and ruthless, but all I've seen is a little moodiness. If anything, he's confusing. So here I am, getting ready for my interview. I slide into a white pencil skirt that falls just past my knees and pair it with a black lace blouse tucked neatly at my waist. For makeup, I keep it simple but flattering. Burgundy lipstick and a soft, smoky eye to warm my complexion. My hair falls naturally down my back in loose waves. With 5 minutes to spare, I grab my black heels with lace detail and my burgundy bow bag. Of course, I'm not walking 20 blocks in heels, so I wear flats and carry the stilettos in my bag, planning to switch when I arrive. 30 minutes later, approaching James Enterprise, I quickly change into my heels across the street so no one sees me. The building is intimidating, sleek, modern, filled with polished blondes and brunettes typing away at desks and answering phones like their lives depend on it. Even from across the lobby, you can tell they want to be admired, envied. Walking through the doors, I fight the urge to shrink back among all these beautiful, confident people. Excuse me? I'm here to see Mr. James, I tell the receptionist politely. Why? She asks without looking up, her fake nails clacking on the keyboard. Because I'm here for an interview? My own voice makes it sound like a question. Ugh, hold on, she groans, picking up the phone. Mr. James? Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Yes, there's a woman here to see you. Oh, I'm not sure, sir. Okay, I'll ask. She stiffens. What's your name? She snaps. Victoria, I stammer, suddenly nervous at her reaction. Her name is Victoria, sir. Yes, sir, she adds obediently, then glares at me. Right through those doors. He said you know where it is. Okay, I smile weakly, trying to ease the tension. I head toward the elevator, bracing myself. Was he in a bad mood? Did last night's awkward dinner leave things strained? I had avoided him after everything. Embarrassment clung to me. The elevator doors open. I take a deep breath, reminding myself, this is business. The hallway to his office feels endless, though it's only a few seconds. Then I'm standing in front of the door marked Mr. James. Knock, lightly. No response. I knock again, harder. What? A deep growl answers. Nope, not doing this. I turn and walk back toward the elevator. The office door slams open behind me. Victoria! His voice cuts through the hallway, commanding. My feet freeze. I hold my breath, praying to be invisible. I can still see you, genius, he smirks. Slowly I turn. He gestures sharply. Come. Then he spins and disappears into his office. Sighing, I follow, standing awkwardly just inside. What are you doing? Close the door. Sit down, he orders. I obey quickly, avoiding his eyes. Did you enjoy dinner last night, kitten? His voice is husky. I stay silent, confused by the whiplash he gives me. One moment he makes me feel alive, the next I'm drowning in doubt. Still, I can't deny how intoxicating he is. I asked you a question, sweetheart, he presses. Yes. The food was nice, I mumble, sidestepping the answer he wanted. He leans forward with a half smile. But that wasn't really the question I meant, was it, baby girl? Still, more important matters now. His gaze sharpens. I want you to work for me, Mrs. Victoria, I don't think. I start, but he cuts me off. Oh, sweetheart, that's cute. You thought I was asking. I want you as my personal assistant. And baby, I always get what I want. I done. Great. You'll start tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And before you get here, I expect coffee on my desk. Black. Don't bring it cold and don't mess it up because I won't let you off easy, sweetheart. He winks. I nod, still silent. Welcome to James Enterprise, my love, he says proudly. Today is my first official day working for Mr. James, and I'm a bit nervous. I keep telling myself, keep calm and work on. But there's also that other voice. If he talks down to me, who knows which version of me shows up. Right now I'm about to leave, and then it hits me. His coffee. I almost forgot. I grab my black handbag, a simple red dress, and black heels. Yes, there's a photo somewhere up top. Thankfully, I have my kitten flats for the walk. I'll switch to heels near the building. 31 minutes later, seeing the tower of glass and steel, I let out a tiny breath of relief. Tiny, because I'm late. First day, late. Only me. Across the street, I slide on the heels while balancing the coffee. If it weren't for this black, not cold coffee, I might have been on time. Through the glass doors, straight to the elevators. The receptionist looks me up and down. I ignore it and press the top floor. When the doors open, I take a breath and head to Mr. James's office. Come in, his voice calls after my knock. I step inside. Those same cool brown eyes somehow make me feel warm. Hi, Mr. James. I'm ready to... Did you bring my coffee? He cuts in. Yes, sir. I hand it over. He sips, frowns. What is this? Why is it cold? I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. His tone leaves no room. Come here, he says. I approach the desk. No, come sit. He gestures, and I end up perched on the edge of his chair, close enough to catch that mix of cinnamon and mint. Good girl. Now tell me, why the skirts and dresses? His voice is low. I look down. I don't have much money. Most of these are older things my mom bought when I lived at home. They still fit, and I make do. Oh, my darling, why are you ashamed? He tilts my chin up with his fingers. Only then do I notice our posture, his legs slightly apart, mine angled over his, just like at the restaurant. I sigh, because I know I'm not as polished or successful as the others. But I'm proud of where I am. I just don't want pity. Not for a job. He studies me. You really don't know why I hired you, do you? No. I chose you because you're sharp, stubborn, and you work hard. I saw it the first day at that diner. His mouth curves. And you underestimate your presence. Before I can reply, he lifts me gently onto the edge of the desk, leaning closer until his voice is at my ear. Let me show you what I mean, he whispers. The room contracts around us. The city goes quiet beyond the glass. Heat, proximity, the thrum of something we should probably slow down, but don't. I feel his breath, the heat of his palm at my waist, the calm certainty in his tone. The moment holds, charged and undeniable. Then he steps back just enough to meet my eyes. 8 a.m. tomorrow, he says, all business again. Coffee, black. On time I nod, gathering myself, cheeks still warm. Welcome to James Enterprise, he adds, softer this time. On the elevator down, my reflection looks back, lipstick a shade smudged, thoughts a lot more so. I clutch my bag, steady my breath, and try to remember. This is just a job, right? You're going to what? I asked, my voice shaky, lips dry. I said I'm going to show you how sexy you are, Richard replied, his tone cool but deliberate. I opened my mouth to protest, but he silenced me with that familiar smirk. Kitten, be quiet and let me do this. Or I'll send you back to work. You only have one option. Something in his voice made me freeze. Nervous, exposed, yet drawn in, I lay back against the polished surface of his desk. The chill of the wood contrasted with the heat radiating between us. He studied my face carefully, as though waiting for me to stop him. I didn't. What followed wasn't rushed. It was deliberate, his movement slow, teasing, designed to unravel me piece by piece. Every glance, every brush of his touch sent another shiver through me. I couldn't tear my eyes away, though I wanted to close them and hide from the intensity. Don't do that, he murmured, watching me. I can't help it, I whispered back. He smiled faintly, as if amused by my helplessness, then carried on with quiet determination. Each gesture was calculated, meant to prove a point, that he was in control, that he could make me feel things I hadn't dared to admit. The pressure built steadily until I was clutching the edge of the desk, breathless, unable to contain the rush that overtook me. By the time he finally drew back, I was left trembling, stunned by how thoroughly he had dismantled me. Richard leaned close, his breath warm against my ear. Do you feel more confident now, Mrs. Victoria? Yes, sir, I stammered, unsure how else to answer. Good. Go home for now. I'll see you tomorrow, he said, settling back into his chair as though nothing unusual had happened. I scrambled out of the office, my mind spinning. The walk home felt endless, every step echoing with what had just happened and how much I had, against all reason, enjoyed it. What are you doing? A sudden voice made me jump. Turning, I saw it was the mean girl from the front desk. Can you not speak? She asked rudely. Excuse me? I replied, surprised at her coldness. I had only ever asked her simple questions before.
I said, "What are you doing?" she repeated, growing impatient. "Oh, right, sorry. I'm making coffee for Mr. James," I explained. I was supposed to bring him coffee every morning, and thankfully today I'd managed to get up on time. She laughed harshly. Ha! You do know you're supposed to get his coffee from the special shop down the street, right? No. I thought I could just make it here. No, you idiot! Of course you're supposed to buy it. I bet you wouldn't even make it right. You probably live in some dump, don't you? Do you know? You took my position, you piece of trash. Do you? She yelled, bringing tears to my eyes. Why are you so mean? I asked quietly. Before she could answer, a voice thundered through the room. What the hell is going on here? Mr. James's voice boomed. Silence fell. Answer me, he demanded. The receptionist sneered. This girl thought she could just make your coffee, not walk her fat ass to the shop like she's supposed to. But I guess that's fine. She can't even afford a stick of gum anyway. You're fired, Mr. James said, his voice deadly calm. Shocked, I turned to leave, assuming he meant me. But before I reached the door, she spoke again, sickly sweet. That's right, sweetie. People like you don't belong here. She even placed her hand on my shoulder. No, Mr. James said. Confused, I turned around. You. Leave. Now, he ordered, pointing at the receptionist. You can't be serious, Richard, she cried. Oh, I'm serious. In fact, you should be on your knees thanking God you're a girl. Now get out. His glare silenced her. Tears streaming, she ran out without another word. I stood frozen, stunned. Shouldn't I have been the one fired? Warm fingers lifted my chin and I met those deep brown eyes. You know, none of what she said is true, right? He said softly. I stayed quiet. Right? He pressed. She's right, I whispered. I don't belong here. Hey, he said firmly. You belong wherever you want to be. You're more qualified than half the people here, sweetheart. Tears spilled over. Damn it! Hey, no tears. He gently wiped them with his thumbs. Looking into his eyes, I wondered why he was being so kind when he was usually so harsh. What? He whispered. Nothing. I muttered. But I could see he was genuine. My heart melted. Slowly, I leaned in and kissed him. For a moment, he froze, then kissed me back, soft but passionate. One hand pressed against my lower back, pulling me closer, the other cupped my cheek. I felt safe. My hands rested against his chest, the warmth seeping into my palms. When his tongue brushed against my lips, I let him in, moaning softly as his thumb traced circles at my back. Pulling away, he looked at me with a small smile. Embarrassed, I buried my face in his chest, but he didn't seem to mind. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "It's fine," I whispered back. "No, it's not." "That was uncalled for. You're a million times better than she'll ever be." He tilted my chin up again, stroking my cheek. "I just want you to know that." "Thank you," I whispered. "Not needed," he said firmly, but then leaned down, murmuring by my ear. "But you're welcome." He kissed the top of my head and walked away. I was left confused by Richard's actions. Does he like me? Or am I just a toy? Maybe I'm just a tease. I don't know. But I can't help the feelings I get when I'm around him. Warm little tingles that make me feel giddy inside. But I know all too well what it means to be hurt and used in a relationship. Shuddering at the flashbacks, I still have nightmares of him touching me even when I begged him to stop. Feeling something warm trail down my cheek, I realized I'd been crying. Shaking off those all too familiar thoughts, I stepped into Mr. James's office. "Mr. James?" I asked. "What?" he huffed, turning around. "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I can come back if you prefer," I said, intimidated. "Sweetheart?" he asked, turning fully. Yes, sir?" "My mistake, baby girl. I thought you were someone else. You know, you didn't knock," he said, voice low. "Shit. Stupid. I'm sorry. I forgot to knock. Sorry," I stuttered, eyes dropping to the floor. I heard movement and thought he was getting up to hit me. I don't know why. I've been alone with him before, but I've never seen him truly angry because of me. Out of the corner of my eye, his hand lifted toward my face. I flinched. You thought I was going to hit you?" he asked, shocked. I didn't speak, just nodded slightly. "Why would you think that?" "Why would you ever think I would hit you? Have I ever given you a reason not to trust me?" His tone turned stern. "No," I whimpered. "I don't understand why I'm still letting my ex mess with my head when he isn't even here. Maybe getting closer to Richard is triggering the past, my way of protecting myself. Then why did you flinch when I went to touch you?" he pressed. "Nothing. You just scared me. I was thinking about something," I said. "No, don't lie to me," he roared, and I worried someone might hear. I... The lump in my throat made it hard to say it. "Spit it out," he snapped, unhappy with my silence. "I can't," I said, a little louder now, irritated by his persistence. "And why the hell not?" "Because..." "Why, Victoria? Why did you flinch when I touched you? Because how am I supposed to tell you, a person I barely know who's only touched me a little, that my ex-boyfriend used to beat me, rape me, and verbally abuse me every single night we were together? And the sickest part? He brought some of his friends to have a go when they had nowhere else to be. I couldn't get out because he threatened to kill me. So don't yell at me with your macho attitude to tell you my secret when I might not be ready. But I guess that's gone to hell now, hasn't it?" I shouted, arms flailing, only then realizing I was crying. Mr. James looked stunned. Silence fell. Not awkward, not comfortable, just silence. Without a word, Richard walked over. He reached out slowly, as if making sure I wouldn't explode again, which, fair. He pulled me into his arms, lifted me onto his chair, and sat me on his lap, cradling me against his chest. "I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry I yelled and forced it out of you. I'm sorry I made you cry," he whispered, kissing my neck between each sentence. I didn't say anything for a while, just cried softly. "It's not your fault," I said at last. "I was probably going to tell you anyway." "Yes, sweetheart, but I shouldn't have forced it so soon. It wasn't my place." "I'm truly sorry," he said gently. "Thank you," I whispered. No, thank you, my sweet, he murmured. Why? I asked, confused. You'll find out soon enough, my dear, he said, caressing my cheek with his thumb. It's strange how the room flipped, from shouting to whispering. I know I should be mad that he pushed me to say it, but the truth is, I could have refused. Maybe part of me wanted to tell him, just didn't want to relive it. So we sat in silence, letting him hold me, while I wondered what he thought of me now that he knew that part of my life. Not the whole thing, just the outline. I wasn't going to unload it all. Maybe later, maybe. Yesterday was definitely something. I can't lie. I've been enjoying the softer side of Mr. James that's been showing lately. Still, it's confusing. One moment he's arrogant and rude, the next he's gentle and kind. If I joked about him being bipolar, I'd probably lose my job. I do feel a little relieved that I shared a part of my past with him, something not even my parents know. You might ask, isn't this boss-employee thing moving way too fast? And you'd be right. It is fast, and it's definitely confusing. That said, I just hope he doesn't hold my secret over me. Calm down, Victoria. If he meant any harm, he would have done it already, I told myself. Hopefully I'm right. Anyway, for now, I'm on my couch watching SpongeBob. Because, let's be real, SpongeBob never gets old. I was supposed to go shopping with a friend, but she got called into work last minute. So now it looks like I'll be heading into the city on my own to browse a few stores. With that, I got up and started the dreadful task I call getting ready. 15 minutes later. Getting ready didn't take long, just shorts, a t-shirt, and pulling my hair into a ponytail. But I still hated every second of it. As I stepped out of the building, I looked at the dirt-stained walls. How does anyone even live here? The only reason I do is because I don't have the money for anything else. I can't stand the sight, let alone the smell. Once outside, I started the 20-minute walk into the inner part of town, closer to the city. Luckily, the weather was nice. Warm, with a light breeze that sent little goosebumps dancing across my skin. 25 minutes later, it took longer than I planned because a damn taxi drove through a puddle and soaked my entire right side. Perfect. That's how I ended up in a shop called Francis looking for a new outfit. Prices were cheap, which was a relief. Rack after rack, but nothing seemed worth buying. I didn't want something I'd wear once and toss aside. I wanted something useful. How about this? A deep husky voice whispered behind me. The hot breath against my neck told me just how close he was. Turning, I saw Mr. James holding a pair of blue shorts and a white tank top. Thank you, I nodded, taking the outfit from his firm grasp. What happened? He asked. Oh, a taxi hit a puddle, splashed me. Yeah, I got wet, I explained, gesturing at my drenched clothes. I can see that, he said with a small chuckle. Then why'd you ask? I snapped without meaning to. Whoa, why the attitude? He raised his hands in mock defense. Sorry, today just hasn't been my day. I sighed. I can see that. But why are you alone? There it was again. Was that concern in his voice? Why does it matter? I challenged. Because it's dangerous out here alone. Especially near our apartment, he said. Our apartment? I live in the same building you do, he said, nodding like it should have been obvious. I thought for a moment. The elevator. Oh yeah, you're the only one who knew we even had an elevator, I said. Yeah, how did you not hear it? He asked, genuinely confused. I was told we didn't have one, so I never paid attention, I shrugged. Well, I guess that makes sense. He didn't sound totally convinced. Aren't you going to change? He asked, nodding at the outfit he'd picked out. What? Oh, right. Yeah, should I turn toward the changing rooms? Wait, he called. Yes? I turned back, meeting his heated gaze. Do you need any help? He smirked. No, I think I'm good, but thanks for asking any time. He dipped his head slightly. I turned again toward the changing rooms, but his voice stopped me once more. I'll see you tomorrow, sweetheart. His deep rasp sent chills racing up my spine. I didn't bother answering. I just kept walking. Why would you say such an awful thing like that, baby girl? He asked sincerely. Because that's what I've always been told, I said, looking toward the window, feeling tears welling up. You mean that you're beautiful? He asked. No. Quite the opposite. Actually, I laughed dryly, feeling a warm tear slip toward my hair as I lay flat. What do you mean, sweetheart? He asked, pulling back to look at my face. For whatever reason, you don't see it, but I have never been the prettiest girl on the street. People never hesitated to remind me of that. I shrugged. He kissed my neck softly, each kiss delicate and lingering, working his way up toward my ear, across my jaw, and finally meeting my lips. His tongue massaged my bottom lip, asking for entrance, and I allowed him in. His hands caressed the bare skin of my stomach where my shirt had risen, leaving tingles wherever he touched. His tongue fought with mine, not rough or demanding, but gentle and steady. We stayed like this for minutes, and I didn't want it to end. His touch calmed me in a way I didn't expect. When he finally pulled back, his brows furrowed as he studied my face. "What?" I whispered, still catching my breath. "I was just wondering how anybody could tell you that you were anything less than perfect." His hand rubbed soothingly over my cheek, his eyes steady on mine. "Well, I can't really blame them," I whispered, looking down. My ex had always said I was fat and ugly, accusing me of cheating whenever I worked late. The truth was, I couldn't have loved anyone more, no matter what I did. He had no reason to hurt me. Those excuses were just a cover. "Why do you do that to yourself?" Richard whispered, concern in his voice. "Do what?" I asked. "Put yourself down all the time," he said, frustration edging his tone. "What do you mean, all the time?" I asked. "Lost. All I ever see you do is cover yourself up when other men walk by. You look away from people, never make eye contact unless you have to. You cower when other women are in the room, and you make sure attention is never on you." He flailed his arms, running his hands through his hair. He noticed all that? Even I hadn't realized. "You pay that much attention to me?" I asked quietly. "Of course! How could I not?" he said quickly, then cut himself off. I nodded, a small smile tugging at my lips. "I want you to know something. You are the most beautiful girl I've ever laid eyes on. You never have to feel anything less than perfect, because you are so much more than that. Okay?" His thumb brushed my bottom lip. "Okay," I whispered. "Good. Now I think I've kept you longer than I intended. I must let you go. But tomorrow, I'm taking you out to dinner." I don't think that's the best idea," I said, doubt in my voice. He gave me a pointed look. "I mean, I'd love to go to dinner with you tomorrow night." I forced more excitement into my voice than necessary. Richard's faint smile was all the response he gave. "Oh, well," I thought, "I need to sort out how I really feel about this man and maybe help him open up too." "Great. I'll come by your apartment at 7:30. Sound good?" he asked. "Sounds good," I nodded. "All right then. Wear whatever you like, baby girl. Anything you wear will be stunning." He kissed the back of my hand. "See you tomorrow, my dear," he said with a tilt of his head. "Okay," I smiled, turning to walk away. "Oh, wait!" I turned back. "Yes?" he asked, lifting his eyes from his papers. "Mr. Robbins from Michigan called. He said you should call him before the end of the day." "Oh, okay." "Thank you, Victoria. And by the way, you look amazing in that skirt." He winked. Blushing, I turned to leave, hearing his soft groan behind me, which only made me smile more. Absolutely stunning. That's how Victoria looked when I picked her up for dinner tonight. She wore a white floor-length dress that hugged her body in all the right places, making me hard just from a single glance. She is incredibly beautiful. The first day I met Victoria at that little diner she called a job, I knew she was special. I didn't know how she managed to work there and still afford her apartment. Crappy as it was, Victoria had that spark I wanted. Not the same preppy girls who acted clueless just to get my attention. The ones who worked downstairs. I wanted someone real. A woman who had kindness in her, but who could also stand up for herself when she needed to. Victoria possessed all of that. Not to mention, she was absolutely gorgeous. Did I say that already? "What are you thinking about?" Victoria's sweet voice pulled me from my thoughts. "Nothing, sweetheart. I was just thinking about how beautiful you are," I said, rubbing her cheek with my thumb. She blushed and looked down, which made me chuckle lightly. We were seated in the farthest booth at one of the nicest restaurants in the city. "How do you like working for me, my love?" I asked. "It's very nice, but I do miss my job at the diner," she said sadly. "Why?" I asked, confused. This job paid 10 times more and was in a better part of town. "I'm not really sure. I know this one is better for me, but at the diner I earned that job. It was the job that got me my apartment. I feel attached to it in a way. I know it's stupid. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't help but miss it a bit. That made me smile. The woman in front of me amazed me again. Most people would beg to leave a job like that behind, yet she wanted to hold on to it, because it meant something to her. Wow, I whispered. What? She asked, scanning my face like she expected to see some sign of trouble. I'm just amazed. You now have a job most people would kill for, and you still want to go back to that diner that barely even counted as a job, I said, still in awe. Sorry, she whispered, looking down at her fingers. No, no. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I just don't understand you. What do you mean? She asked, looking back up. I don't get how you are so perfect. Far from it, actually, she said, rolling her eyes. Stop. Sorry, I'm just not used to someone being so vocal about their thoughts, she admitted. Well, I mean everything I say. I don't say anything I don't believe is true, I replied. I'm realizing that, she said with a small laugh, and it made me smile again. I didn't know how to respond, so I just nodded and tried not to meet his eyes. May I come in? Mr. James asked. Before I could answer, he stepped inside anyway. Okay, I muttered under my breath, closing the door. What? He asked. What? I echoed, confused. You said something. No, I didn't, I lied. He arched a brow, unconvinced. I rolled my eyes and moved past him to keep cleaning. What are you doing? He asked. Cleaning, I said in my best obvious tone. Well, obviously, he snapped, then softened. I meant, why are you doing it yourself? Don't you have people for that? Are you serious? I turned to face him. You do see where I live, right? What makes you think I can afford cleaning supplies, let alone someone to do it for me? Oh, right. He paused. Well, can I help you? You don't have to. I know. I want to, he said, a little frustrated. Okay, if you want. He nodded and headed to the kitchen that opened into the living room, wiping down the counters. That's how we spent the day, working side by side, trading a few stolen glances, saying very little.
Around 8:30, we were on the couch with Chinese takeout he insisted on paying for, no matter how many times I tried. Save your money for a better place, he said. Do you know how beautiful you are? He whispered. I'd drifted off in my thoughts and hadn't noticed him move closer. What? I asked. You're beautiful, he said, brushing his thumb across my cheek. Oh, I cleared my throat. Thank you. You're welcome. His quiet chuckle sent a shiver down my spine. My darling, I need to ask you a question, he said, meeting my eyes. I nodded. Do you have feelings for me? Why would you ask that? My voice sounded braver than I felt. I want to know if you feel any connection, as I do. Mr. James. Richard, he corrected. Richard, I don't know. Frustration leaked through. I like you, yes, but you're my boss. If I start something with you, it could come back to bite me, and I don't want that. So do I have feelings? A bit. Am I going to act on them? Probably not. He cut me off with his lips. Soft, like before. The kind of kiss that makes time blur at the edges. I turned to face him, never breaking the kiss, my hands sliding around his neck as he drew me into his lap. One of his hands settled at the back of my neck, the other at my thigh. The room tilted toward us, and everything else fell away. Okay, he murmured against my mouth. I nodded. What followed stayed unhurried and tender, a warm tangle of breath and whispers. We found our rhythm and let the evening fade to quiet. No fireworks outside, just the steady beat of something new and terrifying and, if I was honest, good. Later, we ended up stretched along the couch, his chest at my back, his arm a heavy, safe weight around me. That's how we fell asleep. Two people who were supposed to keep lines clear, coloring right over them. When I woke up that morning, I almost forgot for a split second that my boss had been at my apartment the night before, helping me clean, staying for takeout, and then falling asleep with me in his arms. When I did realize, the sight of Richard lying next to me, holding me tightly against his chest, brought a strange calm. It made me realize just how much I liked him, and how much I wished there could be something real between us. At the same time, I knew I couldn't hope for too much. Richard stirred, and when I looked up, his eyes were already on me. Good morning, he said, his voice low and husky. Good morning, I answered softly, smiling. Sleep well? Yes, thank you. And you? Fine, he replied, still watching me. He did that a lot, studying me, as though searching for something I didn't see in myself. I didn't really know what to say, I thought. I mean, what would you say if your boss fell asleep at your place after a night like that? What are you planning on doing today? He asked, brushing his thumb over my cheek. Today is Sunday, so nothing, I said with a shrug. What an exciting life you live, he teased, pulling me closer beneath his arm. I smirked. Well, every night I go to exclusive clubs, only drink the finest champagne, and never brush my teeth with anything but whiskey. My sarcastic tone gave me away, and I struggled to keep a straight face. Richard froze suddenly, his playfulness gone. He stood up quickly. Wait, what? Where are you going? I asked, confused. I have to go, he said, avoiding my eyes. Why? What happened? I have to. His voice was clipped, final. He turned and left, slamming the door behind him. I sat back down, confused and hurt. My mind replayed every word, every glance. Then it hit me, the stupid joke. Why, Victoria? Why would you say that? After several minutes of scolding myself, a knock came at the door. Groaning, I pulled myself up and opened it. I blinked. Richard stood there, smiling. Are you? I started, but before I could finish, his lips were on mine. He pushed me gently back against the wall, pinning my hands above my head, his body flush against mine. The sudden rush of his kiss left me breathless. I managed to break away, gasping, Why did you leave so suddenly? Because, he smirked, I wanted this to be more interesting when I came back. And then he kissed me again. His hands slid down to my thighs, tapping lightly for me to jump. I did, wrapping my legs around him as he carried me back to the couch. The kiss deepened, passion pouring between us. For hours we stayed that way, kissing, touching, losing ourselves in the heat of it, but never crossing the final line. It was strange, but also comforting. We both wanted more, but for now, restraint made it feel even more electric. And honestly, I liked it that way. Earlier this morning, Mr. James slipped out without a word. He left a note on my bedside table. My dear Victoria, sorry for leaving so early, but I had things to take care of at the office. I hope you rested as easily as I did. Your bed is very comfortable, by the way. I hope to see you at work today, and thank you for the lovely weekend. Sincerely, James. The part about my bed made me laugh. It was such a strange detail, and yet perfectly him, playful peeking out from beneath all that control. I had just under an hour to get ready. Quick shower, blow dry, then I ran a straightener through my hair until it fell smooth. I chose something work-appropriate, checked every window latch twice, and locked the door tight. In my neighborhood, you learn to be careful. I don't have much, but what I have, I worked for. Outside, the air was cool, the kind that keeps straight hair from surrendering to waves. 30 minutes later, after swapping flats for heels on the sidewalk, I stepped into the lobby. The reception area looked like a showroom of perfect posture and polished smiles. I ignored the stares. Yes, my face is mine. Yes, so is everything else. Sue me. I set my bag on the cherrywood desk outside Mr. James's office, then knocked 3 times. Come in, came a gruff reply. Mr. James? He didn't look up, eyes tracking lines inside a folder. Sorry to interrupt. I finished Friday's work. What would you like me to start today? He finally glanced up, a small smirk tugging at his mouth. Ah, Mrs. Victoria. I'm quite busy at the moment. I can see that, I said, matching his smile. Would you come here? His gaze held mine, and something warm flickered down my spine. For what? I need to show you something. Can't you show me from here? It's on my computer, he said evenly, just this side of impatient. I liked testing the boundary. Fine, I sighed, crossing to his desk. I could feel his eyes on me the whole way. Strong arms closed around my waist, lifting me into his lap, solid and warm beneath me. "You're not going to show me anything, are you?" "Yes," he chuckled. "This." His mouth found mine before I could form another question. I looped my arms around his neck and leaned closer, the kiss shifting from "I missed you" to "I dare you to stop." We tangled for a while, his hands steady at my lower back, mine threading through his hair and smoothing down his shirt front. He squeezed lightly at my hip, and the room fell away until it was just breath and heartbeat, and the stubborn tug of war we always fought and never quite finished. I didn't hear the door open, and then I felt it, the change in the air, the quiet intake of breath from the doorway. I froze. He stilled. The kiss broke like a snapped thread. I turned my head toward the sound, pulse in my throat, still perched in his lap, his hands an unmoving warmth at my back. Whoever was standing there had just seen everything. I was in shock. Sitting on Richard's lap, I froze the moment the door opened. It's not exactly an everyday situation. Instinctively, I tried to get up, but his hands pressed firmly against my thighs, holding me in place. "What are you doing?" I hissed in a panicked whisper. He didn't answer. His eyes stayed fixed on the door. Just as I struggled again, he let out a low groan. I looked up, thinking I'd hurt him. But when his lips grazed my neck in a rough kiss, he whispered, "You'd better not move, kitten." For a moment, I tilted my head to the side, involuntarily giving him more access. That's when a muffled cough came from the doorway, reminding me we weren't alone. Richard growled under his breath, then called toward the door. "Can I help you?" A young man's shaky voice answered. "Sorry, sir. Mister." Johns needed the reports on his desk by the end of the day. "Fine," Richard snapped. "Anything else?" No, sir. I'll go." The door slammed shut. Silence hung heavy for a few seconds. I finally exhaled, burying my face in my hands. "This is mortifying," I muttered. "Why?" Richard chuckled. "Did you not see what just happened? Someone caught us, and I couldn't even get up because you wouldn't let me." "I just didn't want you to leave," he said softly, brushing his thumb across my cheek. I started to protest. "And the way you were so rude to that poor—" But he cut me off, voice lower this time. "I didn't want you to leave." His gaze locked onto mine, and my voice faltered. "Why do you do this? One moment we're ready to tear each other apart, and the next we're kissing against the wall like nothing else matters." Richard smirked. "I prefer the second option." I shook my head. "Are you serious?" He looked away, murmuring, "I guess. I'm just scared." "Scared of what?" I asked, turning his chin back toward me. "Of falling in love with you," he whispered. My heart nearly burst out of my chest. "What did you just say?" I asked, stunned. I searched Richard's eyes, trying to process his words. Did he really just admit he was afraid of falling in love with me? How long had he felt this way? And why hadn't he told me before? "I think I might be starting to feel something for you, Victoria," he said, lifting his head and meeting my gaze. "Think? Or do you know?" I raised my brows at him. I already knew my own feelings. They had taken root long ago, a constant ache gnawing at me. With Richard, it always felt like he was both impossibly close and yet far out of reach. He stayed silent, his eyes locked on mine, darting every so often to my lips. "Well? Which is it?" I pressed. Suddenly, his voice rose. "Yes, I know, all right," he shouted. I flinched, instinctively stepping back. "Rich!" I began cautiously, but he cut me off. "No! You wanted the truth, didn't you? I have feelings for you, feelings so strong they remind me every single day just how beautiful, intelligent, and extraordinary you are. And it infuriates me because I'm not the relationship type. I'm not the man you settle down with. I'm terrified of hurting you, of breaking you. At first, everything I did with you was just for fun. But now—" He trailed off, closing the space between us, cupping my face gently in his hands. "Now I know. I'm falling in love with you, he said, before crushing his lips against mine. I melted into the heat of his kiss, wrapping my legs tightly around his waist. He carried me toward his desk, the cold surface brushing the backs of my thighs. His hands caressed my skin, sending shivers racing over me. When I finally pulled back for air, I smiled softly, threading my fingers through his hair. Richard caught my hands in his own, bringing them to his lips, kissing each knuckle tenderly. You know, he murmured with a faint chuckle, though his eyes stayed serious. You never actually told me if you have feelings for me. You kind of left me hanging there. What do you think? I asked. His brows drew together. What do you mean, what do I think? Do you really believe I would have kissed you back all those times? Or slept with you if I didn't feel anything? I said. He paused for a beat, then a smile broke over his face. I guess you're right. I shook my head slightly. Richard pulled me against his chest, holding me tight, and pressed a gentle kiss to my temple. In that moment, I realized what we had wasn't just raw passion. If this ever grew into something more, it wouldn't be built on physical attraction alone. It could be something deeper. What would you like to eat? Richard asked, his thumb gliding softly up and down my arm. I lifted my head, smiled, and nestled closer into his warmth. He was always so warm, and his scent, God, his scent, never failed to captivate me. Maybe it was just a man thing, but I wasn't about to complain. I don't know, I'm not really that hungry, I said with a shrug, keeping my eyes on his. We could just skip dinner and go straight to dessert, he teased, raising his brows suggestively. I laughed. Why are you always so, like this? Only when a gorgeous woman is sitting right in front of me giving me bedroom eyes, he replied with a wink. What? I'm not giving you bedroom eyes. I don't even know what that means, I shot back defensively. Then how do you know you're not doing it if you've never even heard of it? He pressed, smirking. Words caught in my throat. That stunning smile of his made my heart race even faster. You little, I muttered under my breath. Before I could finish, his mouth captured mine. A helpless moan slipped out of me as my fingers tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, pressing harder into the kiss. With a low growl, he pulled me onto his lap, settling me astride him. The vibration of his chest rumbled against me, sending shivers spiraling through my body. As the kiss deepened, his hands slid beneath my shirt, tracing small, slow circles over my skin. Should we take this into the bedroom? He whispered, his lips brushing mine. I nodded, not wanting to think about anything else, only him. Moments later, I felt the softness of the bed beneath me. My heart was pounding so loudly I thought he might hear it, but he was just as lost in the moment as I was. It was the first time we had ever been together in a bed. Something so ordinary to most people felt entirely different for us. Because this time wasn't just about passion, it was about feelings too. Richard slowed down, kissing me tenderly, his fingers trailing from my cheek to my jaw. This time, it's going to be different, he murmured. And it was. That night, Richard and I didn't just have sex. We made love, passionate and intense, but filled with something far deeper. With his arms locked tightly around me, he whispered, "Good night, Princess." Smiling, I whispered back, "Good night, mister." James. A delicate kiss brushed my temple as my eyes closed, and in that quiet moment, one thought echoed in my mind. I made love to him because I loved him. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm working on my new one right now, and I'll publish it once it's finished. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Take care.